quick! Okay, what happened? I saw a mouse! I saw a mouse! You saw a mouse? Aren't they extinct? What? Of course not. They still exist, and there's one here and you have to find it. You know, I was doubting that there was a mouse that invaded our home, like my sister was saying, but I decided to search her room for a mouse just to make sure that there really is no mouse invasion. No. So I looked everywhere and I found nothing. Are you sure you saw a mouse? Maybe you were just tired and maybe you confused my sock to be a mouse. Yes, I'm sure I saw a mouse. I'm not seeing stuff. This girl is totally seeing stuff. Look, I can't find him anywhere. Maybe he escaped. And the story could have ended there with the fact that my sister was tired and confused my sock to be a mouse. But nope, because next day, shortly after I woke up, I saw the mouse running in our house. There's a mouse in our house. I started to search in our house to find the mouse, but again, I couldn't find it. Then next day, early in the morning, same thing happened. Shortly after I woke up, I saw the mouse, and this time the mouse went into my room. So I rushed over there and slammed the door. Say your last prayers, you brat. And I got ready to catch the mouse. My plan was simple. First, I would find the mouse, then I was going to catch the mouse, and then in the end, I would release the mouse back into nature. I went inside my room and began to search for the mouse. And as I was doing my search, I suddenly heard a sound coming from behind me. I turned my face and I saw the mouse coming from a small gap between the wall and my closet. And then it escaped out of my room and jumped into a small opening in the wall. Ah, so that's where it goes. So I had this genius idea of closing the small opening in the wall with a duct tape. But that did not work. The mouse still managed to get inside our house. I personally had enough of this mouse. It has now invaded our home several times and I was going to put an end to it. I knew that in order to win against the mouse, I had to learn about them and to discover their weaknesses. So I started searching on mice to learn more about them, and so what I found was that mice are nocturnal, which means they work at night, and that makes a ton of sense. That's why my sister saw it at night. That's why it also would return where it came from early in the morning. And secondly, mice can go through small gaps in the wall, even holes that are much smaller than them. Which that makes a ton of sense too. And thirdly, I found out their favorite food isn't actually cheese, as I and many people will think, but actually their favorite food are fruits, grains, and peanut butter. I read so much about mice. I think I became one of the best experts on mice in the whole universe. And I was ready if the mouse would ever return. Some of you might be in love with mice and want to know why I want to kick the mouse out of my house. Well, firstly, that mouse just invaded our house. And secondly, it will not go to the toilet. And moreover, rodents like mice are known to spread diseases. I mean, did you hear about the bubonic plague? It killed 1/3 of the European population. And sure, the ones that did it were rats, but I'm sure mice would have done it if they could. So, by getting rid of the mouse that invaded my house, I'm probably saving the planet from a 4th bubonic plague. And overall, it was just awful to have a mouse in your house. I personally would look over my shoulders all the time, and I would almost sleep with one eye open, and I would be startled by the smallest sounds while the mouse was in our house. Hi? Ah! Oh, hey mom. And my sister will jump on the chair the moment she will think she saw a mouse. Ah! It's there! Those are my socks. So we all decided to put a plan on how to get rid of the mouse. Okay, so my plan is to talk with the mouse and ask it to stop bothering us. Let's challenge it to a fight, and you know, it's a mouse. It has no chance against any of us. So my plan is to hypnotize the mouse and I will make the mouse jump into the river. Well, that's just stupid. It only happens in fairy tales. What? No, it's genius. Dad, back me up here. Dad? Hey guys, while you were arguing on what to do to get rid of the mouse, I got hungry, so I decided to buy ice cream. So I went to this shop, and as I was there, I talked with this man who told me about his hobby, which was scuba diving. And he told me that there is no mouse that lives underwater, which made me remember, wait a minute, there is a mouse living in our house. So I bought this mouse trap. Here you go. So the mousetrap was not the old classic mousetrap, you know, the ones that you would watch in old cartoons. Instead, it was a locked mousetrap. It looked like a small house with one opening so the mouse can get inside. So we put food in the mousetrap and boom, the world was saved from another disease. Now, this mouse invasion was not fun at all. It made us worry about the hygiene in our house because mice carry diseases. Also, mice like to chew on things like wires, so this mouse could single-handedly cut all electricity in our house. Also, mice steal and contaminate food, which is really bad. So in reality, we are lucky to get out of the danger safe and sound. By the way, in case it was unclear, the mouse is dead. You know, this mouse was the scariest mouse I have ever seen in my whole life. And it was the only mouse I have ever seen in my whole life. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, take care.